Indonesia, an archipelago stretching across thousands of islands, is a land defined by extraordinary diversity and deep history. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the quiet rice terraces of Bali and the remote villages of Papua, life is rich with culture. Every island carries its own stories, languages, and traditions, passed down through generations. Together, they form a web of belief, artistry, and community, where religion, ritual, and everyday life are mingled. From shadow puppetry and batik to sacred dances and ancient ceremonies, Indonesia's intangible heritage continues to shape its people's identity. It is a culture that honors the past while adapting to the present, vibrant, resilient, and forever alive. In 2003, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, better known as UNESCO, gathered to discuss an essential human right, the right of every person to practice and preserve their culture. Among their conclusions was a simple but powerful idea that cultural heritage is a fundamental resource for other human rights. But what exactly is intangible culture? UNESCO defines intangible cultural heritage as the practices, representations, expressions, knowledge, and skills, as well as the instruments, objects, artifacts, and cultural spaces associated with them, that communities, groups, and individuals recognize as part of their cultural heritage. In other words, intangible culture isn't something we can hold or touch, it's something we live, perform, and pass on. It includes oral traditions, languages, performing arts, rituals and festivals, social practices, traditional craftsmanship, and knowledge about nature and the universe. These are the living threads that weave together identity, memory, and belonging. Across the world, these traditions shape the spirit of communities. In Japan, the Bon dance, or Bon Odori, is performed every summer during the Obon festival. For centuries, people have gathered in circles, dancing to the rhythm of the taiko drums to honor the spirits of their ancestors. Each region has its own version, its own steps, songs, and stories. The dance is not written down or manufactured. It is learned by joining in, by watching and repeating. It lives through only the people who carry it forward. Across the Pacific, another example moves with the rhythm of the ocean. Polynesian wayfinding. Long before the age of modern navigation, Pacific Islanders mastered the stars, winds, and waves to journey across vast stretches of sea in canoes. Their maps weren't drawn on paper, but remembered through chants, stories, and teachings shared from one generation to the next. It was both a science and art, logic and faith. These traditions, like countless others, remind us that culture isn't only found in museums or monuments. It lives in movement, in memory, and in meaning. To protect intangible culture is to protect the heartbeat of humanity itself. Long before Indonesia was a nation, batik flourished as an ancient craft, its origins embedded in the mists of Southeast Asia, with the island of Java as its cultural heart. Batik's earliest expression was simple yet profound. Wax-dyed cloth, colored with pigments drawn from the earth. The process required patience, skill, and an artist's instinct. Village artisans traced designs with a chunting, hot wax gliding onto cloth, protecting patterns from the dyes to come. In Javanese courts, batik symbolized power, status, and belief. Motifs like parang and kawang were reserved for royalty, each design steeped in meaning and custom. Batik was more than adornment. It embodied blessings, protection, and prayers for the wearer. As centuries passed, batik traveled with traders, priests, and artisans, crossing seas and islands, adapting to each new community. Regional styles blossomed. Solo's delicate florals, Pekalongan's vibrant colors, Sumatra's geometric elegance. Each piece became a record of innovation and migration. reflecting local stories and influences. Batik's story is one of inheritance.
And last year, my sister just got married, and she wearing the same batik that what my mom used when she got married too. So batik is also part of legacy and history for our family that's connect us to our ancestors too.
Skills passed from elders to youth kept techniques alive through colonial occupation, economic upheaval, and social change. Batik thrived in kitchens and palaces alike, evolving as Indonesians took their pride in their heritage. In the 20th century, commercial batik grew beyond tradition. Technologies, screen printing, digital design brought mass production, new markets, and challenges to authenticity. Yet for every new method, countless artisans remained committed to the slow artistry of handmade batik, honoring ancestral techniques. The creation of batik is a ritual of patience and precision.
Uh, the original batik with the handwritten, it made 1 to 3 months originally. So we just use, we call it mori or like cotton, white cotton. And first, people will draw the pattern with a pencil. And then after that, we have the tools named chanting, which is like a pen, but we have the metal that can hold the wax, hot wax. And then after that, after they draw the pattern with the pencil, they draw with the wax, fold the pattern in the batik. And then after that, they dyed it with the color. And then after they're done with coloring, because sometimes one fabric of batik, it has a lot of colors, like what I wear right now. I have blue, I have brown. So like they need to wait to make sure that all the color being processed in the fabric. After all the process done, they boil the batik into hot water just to melt out the wax. And then from there, you can see all the pattern from the batik.
In 2009, UNESCO named Indonesian batik as Intangible Cultural Heritage. This global acknowledgement crowned the centuries of innovation, artistry, and resilience. Today, batik stands as living history, an emblem of Indonesian identity and creativity. Across the islands of Indonesia, the day begins wrapped in color and history. Batik, more than a work of art, is woven into the very fabric of daily life. From bustling cities and quiet villages, its patterns carry meaning, memory, and pride. School children step into classrooms dressed in batik, not as a costume, but as an emblem of national identity.
I learned batik since my elementary school. So we have 3 uniforms in a week. So one of them is batik. So maybe I'm wearing a batik like 2 times a week.
The patterns they wear have been chosen to foster pride, discipline, and cultural awareness, reminding the young of a legacy they carry forward.
Every pattern in batik, it has different meaning and function. Like there is a specific pattern that only used for women or only used for men or only used for married couple or something like that.
Batik is more than personal attire. It unites workplaces and public life. On Fridays, offices from Jakarta to small towns hold batik days, and thousands join by wearing traditional prints. Its role goes beyond clothing. Batik brings warmth to homes as table runners, cushion covers, wall art, and ceremonial banners. Handcrafted pieces tie together generations, making each meal and gathering a celebration of artistry. Modern creativity knows no bounds. Young entrepreneurs use batik motifs on sneakers, bags, laptops, and accessories, infusing heritage into contemporary life. Indonesian culture can evolve, adapt, and stay vibrant, blending old aesthetics with new expression. For many, batik supports a livelihood. Artisans and their families rely on workshops and cooperatives, innovating with eco-friendly methods and a collaborative spirit. Residents and foreigners alike visit markets and studios to see the careful dyeing, waxing, and storytelling embedded in every piece. Batik represents Indonesia to the world. At diplomatic gatherings and cultural expos, batik is worn as a mark of honor and hospitality, carrying the messages of peace and openness. The Indonesian diaspora fuses batik with local fashion, nurturing identity no matter how far from home. Amid this vibrant sweep of daily life, the art of batik faces a new challenge. That challenge is preservation. In a world that moves fast and changes all the time, how does Indonesia ensure that batik endures as both a treasured art and a living culture? The heart of batik conservation lies in regeneration. Across cities and villages, parents teach children, master artisans mentor local youth, and schools introduce batik into the curriculum as both tradition and skill.
First, when I learned about batik when I was a kid, I always see my parents wearing batik attribute in the traditional event or even in the church event. And then until I went to elementary school, there is a day that we also wear batik in our school. So from there, I know like what is batik, which is batik is original fabric, comes from Indonesia, especially in my city, Surakarta. And from there, I learned how to draw the pattern of batik and then learn how to make batik.
Education is central. Museums partner with classrooms, holding workshops and festivals where artistry meets history. Young people learn to distinguish handmade batik from mass-produced copies, to understand the meaning behind motifs that reflect nature, belief, and identity. These living lessons protect batik from fading into mere commodity, and UNESCO recognizes this network of knowledge as a template for safeguarding intangible heritage. Government and community support keeps batik's roots strong. Training and business grants help small batik enterprises compete, ensuring artisans earn livable wages and their families see a future in the craft. Meanwhile, legal protection, including patents for unique patterns, defends Indonesian batik against imitation and cultural misappropriation. Cultural tourism is another lifeline for conservation. Batik villages welcome guests to learn, create, and celebrate, transforming heritage into shared experience. Festivals, exhibitions, and National Batik Day amplify pride and encourage involvement both locally and around the world. Artisans and entrepreneurs use online shops, social platforms, and educational videos to market authentic batik, connect with wider audiences, and introduce fresh designs. Digital outreach empowers a new generation to cherish, sustain, and reimagine their culture.
Okay, so how I describe the culture in Indonesia? Culture for me, it's like everything that we do in our daily life. Because Indonesia, it's in like either in the food, the way we act with other people around us, and also even the things that we wear, like a shirt or costume that we have. So it connected with ourselves, and it brings a lot of spirit that we need to honor it.
I think culture and tradition is have a vital roles in shape who I am, and having culture and tradition with me, it helps me to or remind me that I belong to a certain community. I think it's really important to honor them, because by honoring them, it's like we show how grateful we are for them, and we thank for their efforts to keep our tradition alive and passing from generation to generation, so we can still have it. Because in nowadays, with so many mixed tradition from modern initiation, it's like kind of hard to see like what is like truly our culture, and having them keep our culture alive, it's a really things that we are grateful for. One of our tradition that I think is really unique to our own culture, it's when a woman wants to get married, a man who wants to marry her is need to pay for to her family. And I think it's really unique because even in Indonesia itself, it's not like every culture have that things. It's only specific to us, or maybe some couple of other region too.
I'm just thinking about one example that we called salim tangan. That is the way like we greet other people like older than us. When we try to grab their hand and then we put it in our forehead, that's salim tangan. That's the unique culture that I I hope that it will never disappear because salim tangan it's the way we honor older people, and that's the way we show our loves as well and respect for them.
Experience reading a batik around. I felt proud and I felt happy to wearing a batik, especially here in BYU Hawaii. We have a lot of people from different country, and this is the one thing that I always wearing when I go to class. And you know what? There's people like at that time, one day I think five more people say like, my pen is really cool. Like, oh, your pen is really cool, and I like your pens. Where you got the pens? I was like, oh man, this is great. This is a pen from Indonesia, and this is a batik pattern. So from that experience, I think that's really good, man. It's really good experience, and I feel very proud to wearing a batik around.
So every time I wear batik, I feel like I'm at home and I feel like I'm safe because that's our identity or something unique about our culture that we can show it and we can be proud of. So batik it makes me feel like I am home, I am feel warm because I can that's a example of representative that we can give it to other people.
As time moves forward, the islands of Indonesia, the story of Batik continues, connecting time, identity, and community. What began as a humble craft in Java has blossomed into a national treasure, a living tradition that binds past and present, generation to generation. From the Chunting's first wax drop to the vibrant patterns that adorn daily life, Batik has become so much more than art. It is the heartbeat of a diverse nation, a testament to the creativity, resilience, and shared wisdom of its people. The conservation of batik is not simply about protecting fabric and its technique. It is about nurturing pride, fostering well-being, and passing on values of tolerance, kinship, and respect. Through close collaboration, families, teachers, artisans, entrepreneurs, and communities, Indonesia has secured batik's future. Museums and schools teach new generations. Batik villages invite the world to join in. And digital platforms let the colors of tradition reach across borders. UNESCO's global recognition affirms what millions already know. Batik inspires, heals, connects, and empowers. As Indonesia faces the challenges of a changing world, batik stands as a quiet but powerful reminder. Culture lives, adapts, and endures only when cherished. Each motif tells a story. Each shared skill builds resilience. The journey of batik is far from over. It rests not in museums, but in the hands, hearts, and minds of all who value beauty, meaning, and community.